The human kingdom is divided into three massive levels. Within those there are sub-levels. But in fact, there is identity consciousness, and if you have a dialogue in your head that you cannot silence even if you wish, unless you do meditation, you are in identity consciousness. When you go into God consciousness, there is a silence of that dialogue, and you exit only when you have to relate or deduce or analyze. When you go into the ascended master realm, which is the apex of humanness, the dialogue is so silent that you actually write your books like I do longhand, not a thought in my head. When I speak, it is not preceded by thought. The ascended masters that I work with all over the world, the ones that are in my classes, they have the same. It is automatic living. Life is on autopilot. But there is a stage that lies beyond it, and this is the stage in which you are really no longer human. Because to be human, there are specific configurations of the fields around the body, and there are basically a particular cell structure. There are a specific number of DNA strands that are active and awakened. Those things change when you make the rather large transfiguration into a whole new line of evolution, the God Kingdom. For instance, the configuration of the fields that define a human versus a God has various bodies around the physical body, and they generally have a specific distance from one another. In God consciousness, you find that the emotional bodies transfigure. In ascended mastery, you find that the mental bodies transfigure. But when you enter the God Kingdom, the configuration of the fields around the body is a very, very dense level of awareness particles, of the building blocks of life. Very dense. This enables a great deal easier awareness, perception, self-perception to take place. The love that pours forth from the heart is extraordinary, because parts of the building blocks of existence are particles called light and love particles, which have little fields of combined light and love. Those are very intense and in very dense numbers in the field of someone in the God Kingdom. Life does change, but if that God chooses to remain in the flesh rather than raise the frequency in their body to the level where they leave the view of humanity, if you will, they leave this 3D as we think of it behind. The instruction has come from the mother and the father that there must be balance, that humanity is the archetype representing all kingdoms. Mother has therefore asked that those that transfigure into this grand stage remain in the flesh. Are they among you? Yes, they are. Many of them are in the sacred orders of the earth, of which we speak on occasion, and you will not know them if you see them, but you will know the effects of being in their presence. They emit large streams of neutrinos through the heart. And what that does is it brings an erasing of karma, and it brings instant healing by grace. In other words, you're on one of the holiest spots on earth when you are in their presence. But they may be wearing blue jeans, or they may be wearing a sari, or they may be wearing a business suit. Until refined light is properly visible to man, flesh and form hides a great deal. And although they are millions of times more light than the average person, you may not be able to see it. And so they are among us. And is it available to everyone? Absolutely. Every one of the books that I have written is dedicated to setting man free from the fishbowl in which he he or she has found themselves. Thank you for joining us.